Hi, it's Andy Rice here, and it's the day after we found out that the Olympic Games has been postponed until 2021, and someone who that deeply affects is on the line with me from Italy, from Arco in northern Italy. It's Vittorio Bissaro, the 2019 world champion in the Nacra 17. So, Vittoria, what was your first reaction? Do you remember the first thing that you said when you heard that the Olympics has been postponed?
Well, it's a kind of fresh news, so I still do not realize that much. My first reaction was just, wow, that we are really facing a big issue because the last time Olympic Games were not held in the proper dates was during a world war. So it's absolutely a different kind of war, but it's a very, very big issue. And I say things are changing very fast in this period. So we must be prepared to everything.
And in Italy, you must know that better than most people in the world right now, because we're looking at Italy thinking, what happened there? Why did it hit Italy so badly? So just tell us about which part of Italy you're in and how it has affected you personally.
Well, I am in north of Italy, in Trentino, that is a region between Lombardia and Veneto. And both Lombardia and Veneto are two of the most affected region in Italy. So we are kind of in the middle of the war. And hopefully, I live in Arco, that is close to the north of Garda, and let's say that our place is not a place where let's say that our place is a place where social distancing is pretty common. So it's not a news for us. It's not like Milan or a big crowded city. So we are used to be away from other people. And so let's say that life at home did not change too much, except for the fact that, for example, my gym is closed. We are not going out at the restaurant because everything is closed at the moment here. We were waiting for a kitchen that is not coming. So, for example, at the moment we are cooking with camping gas, and every time we have to wash dishes, we have to go out in the garden. So, despite these little stupid things, our life not changed too much, but we are aware of the war that is going not far from our home, and we are looking at the news every night, hoping for some trend that seems is going to happen at the moment in Italy. So
how many days have you been locked away in your house?
it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks, and we're on the 25th of March now as we speak. And we see signs that maybe the numbers of cases in Italy is starting to level out, and then we see the number go up again a little bit. What's your feeling about where the peak might hit Italy? What date do you think?
To be honest, I have no idea. I was expecting that this problem will solve earlier than it was. So at the moment, I'm just living my life in this way, hoping that things are going to change, but I don't forecasting too much about the future, because I made a few forecasts in the future last days and they were all wrong all the time. So I stopped doing it. I prefer bricolage and other business.
Right, okay. And who do you live with, by the way?
My wife.
Okay, so you got each other to keep each other company.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not a bad position to live in at the moment.
What about your sailing partner, Maelle? How often are you speaking to her, and how far away is she from you?
She's in the middle of Italy, so let's say around 500 kilometers from my house. But hopefully, with these technological tools, we can be close enough if we want. So, for example, after some rest and all this changeable situation, we started this week to have a training virtual session. So we started looking at the video and talking, kind of try to visualize and talking about sailing. Because we had the feeling that it's important to keep the mind on that, and also to keep our relationship alive.
Well, that would be interesting to dig into that, to find out how you go virtual sailing and how you keep yourself race sharp. But just update us on the situation in terms of where you were with the Italian trials. You won the Worlds last year, but Ruggero Tita and Caterina Banti have also had some fantastic results over the last few years. They've won the Worlds as well. So where were you up to with the trials, and what did you know up until yesterday's announcement about the postponement of the Olympic Games?
We had no official communication from Federation, so it's just a personal feeling. But I'm pretty confident that at the moment trials were open, and the regatta that were probably closing the trials were Trofeo Princesa Sofia in Palma and Genoa. But the fact that these two regatta were not held will for sure keep the trials open probably all this year and the beginning of the next one. So I think we will talk about the trials for more time, a lot more time from now.
And so you must be wondering what it is you need to do. And you've talked about this virtual training that you've started doing with Maelle. How you spend your time over these next few weeks or months, however long this takes, when we're all shut away in our houses, not going on the water, that's going to be quite a critical time, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Sometimes I'm feeling uncomfortable in this static situation, because I'm used to, I like running, I like adventure, I like nature, I like strong wind, the waves, and all these kind of things. And we are living more a virtual life at the moment, so it's not easy. But trying to keep our best shape there, I putting time on physical activities at home.
What are you doing? You have a home gym?
Not yet. I'm preparing it. So one of the project of these days is building a little home gym. So I just order a few pieces. I like doing home bricolage. I don't know if the word exists.
Home improvements, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm putting time on that. And also I put a lot of time in reading all the theoretical, all the things that I like to read, but I never had time to do that. And now I'm having a lot of time, a lot of spare time to spend. So I'm putting time on this. So read things that are there since many years, and finally have the time to join.
Well, you've always struck me as somebody who thinks very hard about the sport. You're quite scientific in your approach, and I see all the books on your shelf behind you.
Yeah.
And
Awesome. Yeah.
so,
You have the same, so you must be the same probably. We are not.
oh well, yeah, of course. I've got to mention my own book, because I don't always have it up there behind me. But Asymmetric Sailing. I remember when you said, just after you won a medal in Marseille a couple of years ago, and I interviewed you, and you said to Maelle, your crew, "This is the guy that wrote this book." And I was so excited that you bought this book for Maelle, and I was going to offer to sign it. I said, "Do you want a signed copy of this book?" And she said, "No, you're all right. It's okay. I'm fine. Thanks." So anyway, that was one of the most exciting moments of my life, and suddenly it was one of the most depressing moments of my life when she didn't want my autograph on her book. But anyway, yeah. So you seem like you go about the process of sailing, of getting faster in the Nacra 17 in quite a scientific manner. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, if I like that kind of let's say that kind of thinking, because I study aeronautical engineer at school as a degree, and I had a master on that. So I really like logical and theoretical approach to problems. But hopefully, sailing is teaching me that it's not just a matter of theoretical things. And here after here, I'm, uh, let's say, I'm getting softer of this approach and thinking more lateral and more creative way, in a more creative way.
Well, there are some very good sailors with no scientific background who sail from feel. They sail from, we say, the seat of their pants, or from their gut, from their instinct.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the merge of these two approach is the best way to sail and to win races. And so let's say that my soul, my deep soul is a very logical, but I'm trying to learn to be less logical and less rational. And so in that way, sailing is very interesting for me because with the project, with the goal to win races, I had to change my way of approach problems. So it's a kind of a psychological challenge. It's not just a technical challenge.
Now, the Italian stereotype is someone who is very passionate, that does everything from the heart, not so much from the mind, always getting angry one moment and then happy the next. And we talk about the Latin temperament. I don't know how much you think that is a sort of a national cliche and how much is true, but it seems to me that there you are in North Italy, not far from the German border. It seems like some of your thinking is maybe more Germanic than Italian.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel more Germanic than Italian in these things you just mentioned. Maelle is more passionate and more emotional. So that's why we are probably a good mix.
Yes. So what are you learning from her approach? What are you realizing that you were missing from your approach and that she brings to the completeness of your team?
Well, the fact that sometimes the solution is not always logical, and you just need to be open and need to be ready once the solution arrives and not have the well, it's not an easy concept to say in English for me, so I
No,
can try
no.
try
Say
to
say
start.
it in Italian first.
Well, il fatto che non è tutto razionale. But wait, I will keep it simple. The fact that is not all rational. So, learning that the fact is that is not all rational, and really feeling this help you to be ready in a different way.
You saying this, it reminds me of Santiago Lange, who also is very scientific in his approach, but also is very passionate as well. Would you agree that he seems to have both sides of this character that we're talking about?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. So it's interesting that you're trying to take that on board, because I would think most sailors in your world, in the Olympic world, are natural sailors. They're passionate about what they do and they're feeling like they need to get more scientific about what they do, more analytical. And here's you going in the opposite direction.
But I am not a common sailor. I started sailing seriously just after university, 24 years old.
How old are you now?
32.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So short apprenticeship to get to
Yeah,
world champion.
exactly. Very, very strange. But my idea is that I started training for these results well before sailing. The fact I was always a sportsman. I was always let's say a serious challenger of things.
And what
These
would you say? Why was this? What was special about your approach that made you successful in different challenges?
but well, the fact that I once I start with something, I put a lot of effort on it, and you can learn this, for example, this ability in everything, also in gardening or I don't know, painting or many. So it's not sailing is just one field where you can put the ability, but many of the ability that are important in sailing are not. You can learn these abilities in different fields.
So you're like a modern day Leonardo da Vinci, a modern Renaissance man.
No, very far from that.
he
Still very
designed
far from
he designed helicopters, didn't he? So he had some understanding of aeronautical engineering as well.
Yeah, he was a genius. I'm not.
Well, you've got time. You've got time. You're only 32. Just getting serious again about the situation that you're in, because Italy does not, northern Italy does not look like a fun place to be right now, and it's good to see that you're in such good spirits. How are your friends and family?
Well, the fact that I am in good spirit is also because no one of people that I take care are involved in this problem. So I feel the problem as a citizen, but not as a person, as a, let's say my personal relationship are all fine at the moment. No one is involved. So they are all good, hopefully, yet.
Okay. Well, let's hope it stays that way. I want to come back and ask you many more things, but we'll come back to that in another video. So keep watching these videos. You can find a lot more at sailjuice.com. For the time being, Vittorio, thanks very much.
Bye.